Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Love chatting with Mark Zinno as well. 92.9 The Game there in Atlanta. Hear him nationally on ESPN Radio as well. Lots of great betting content. He's on Twitter at Mark Zinno. Zinno, what's good, man?
Matty, what's good over in your land, your neck of the woods? I know we're getting ready for football season, and hey, this might just be the year where the Falcons one up the Saints there, buddy.
Maybe the Saints stink. I don't think that's a really steep hill to climb. New Orleans is really bad. What do we know through one preseason game and a couple of weeks of camp about the Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix thing?
Well, I mean, look, in the big picture, you'll still never get me to agree that it was a smart move by the Falcons to take Penix. But that said, Kirk Cousins is going to be ready week one. There's no reason anybody has given any indication that he's not. He never plays in the preseason regardless. So him not playing in the preseason this year isn't anything new to anybody. So, I mean, it's Kirk Cousins or bust. And if Kirk does what he's capable of doing, and this offense does what is capable of doing, this should be no less than a 10-win team that wins the NFC South, and anything less than that is a wild disappointment for this team. And Raheem Morris does not get a year one head coach pass. There is no pass for him. I can't remember a coach, other than like George Seifert taking over for Bill Walsh, that had this much of a ready-made offense and a ready-made team that is a playoff caliber team in recent memory. Like, you just don't get these situations that come along often where you take a new head coach takes over a team that is this ready to win and win now.
Okay. Go to Penix, though, for a second. What did you see? I didn't see the game against Miami. Saw some highlights. What did you see from Penix?
I mean, look, he's a really capable young quarterback. I mean, he's playing up against guys who are going to be janitors in 3 weeks, but that's a different conversation. I mean, the idea that he can walk into the huddle, command the huddle, know the playbook, how to regurgitate it, seems like he has presence and control and, isn't overwhelmed by anything that's there. All those things are what you look for, and he showed all those things. Executing the plays is almost, for some of these rookies, it's almost the easy part, right? Just being able to go drop back and throw a pass is the easy part. It's just all the pre-stuff. Again, knowing how to command a huddle, knowing how to communicate with your teammates, your guys, and letting them feel the confidence that you know exactly what's going to happen before it happens kind of deal. That's the hard part for young quarterbacks to really make translate. So, again, I don't have many concerns about Michael Penix as far as what he's going to be. It's hard to really glean anything from anything in preseason, but he looked impressive. And like I always say about preseason, none of it matters, none of it counts, and I don't really care what you do. But I'd still rather you look good than look bad. Yeah,
no doubt. It's almost like, I think you can't necessarily get answers to the affirmative, but you get answers to the negative in preseason.
Right. You can find out if a guy can't play.
Yes.
You just don't 100% know if he can play, and that's the difference.
The Falcons have spent so much draft capital on the offensive side. They've got tons of great players. We know that. Are there questions that remain on the offense right now?
I think the questions remain around Kyle Pitts. Is he going to be the guy that he had year one with Matt Ryan? Or is he going to be the guy that's got a nagging knee injury and doesn't really do anything special that we all thought he was a, quote, unicorn? Not we all thought, but some people thought he was a unicorn coming out in college given his skill set, which is why the Falcons made the boneheaded decision of taking him 4th overall. By the way, never take a tight end in the top 10, ever. I don't care who you are. That's just a fact. It's a fact of life. It's like death, taxes, the sun coming up. Don't take tight ends in the top 10. Those are things you can write down.
What about Brian Bowers? Did Bowers go 10 or 11? I can't remember. Where did he go?
He went 11.
Okay, so he's all right. So he's safe.
He made it. Listen, tight ends inside the top 20 to me are sketchy.
Okay.
It's just you don't build an offense around a tight end nobody ever has. And don't give me Travis Kelce. The offense is built around Patrick Mahomes, not Travis Kelce. Right? Travis Kelce didn't put up these numbers before Mahomes got there. Go look at his numbers with Alex Smith. You'll yawn and you'll go, oh, that's nice. So, that's why you don't draft that type of player that you can't build around inside the top 20. Everybody else is a bona fide starter who has a real role on the offense and the defense, and tight ends just don't. They're complementary pieces and always have been. So, you can make them bigger than what they are in certain cases. But anyway, we digress. To your point about Pitts, he's got something to prove this year. One, he's getting to that point where he's got to start looking at his next contract and what he's going to be worth, and he's got to start showing that he is of that ilk and of that capability. But, can he stay healthy? He's had nagging injuries the last 2 years. Now, some of me is starting to think that, if I got a nagging injury, why am I going to run out there to have Desmond Ridder throw me a football? Because we know how that ends, not with a completion. So, or to the other team. So there is that. So I don't know if he was rushing to get back in certain scenarios, but now with Cousins, maybe he is. And if you go look at the numbers that T.J. Hawkinson put up in Minnesota while Kirk Cousins was there, even with injuries, if you try to extrapolate it out to a 16, 17 game sample size, he would have had monster years. And if Pitts can stay healthy, he's on deck for a monster year. The problem for the Falcons is, you talk about the offense, there's only one football. So somebody's got to get it, because Pitts shouldn't be at the top of that list. You want to know why? Because he's not Bijan Robinson, and he's not Drake London. I don't care what your skill set is. Those two guys are better players with the football in their hand than Kyle Pitts is. So they have to get the ball too. There's only one ball to go around, and how Kirk does that and how he, spreads the ball around and keeps people happy ultimately will be a measure of what this offense can truly be.
He's Mark Zinno on Twitter at Mark Zinno, Zinno, if you want to give him a follow, 92.9 The Game there in Atlanta. Also, you hear him nationally on ESPN Radio. So flip it over. I want to talk some defense. I saw Braylon Trice, who I think a lot of college football fans, got to know with Washington having that great playoff run last year. He goes to IR, done for the year, knee injury. How big of a loss is that for this Atlanta team?
How do you know? I mean, he never played a snap in a game. I mean, you don't want to. I mean, put it this way. Let me frame it this way. I'll ask you a question. At this point, Braylon Trice is going to have as much impact as the Falcons' number 1, 8th overall pick.
Okay.
They're not going to see the field, neither one of them.
I get it.
So,
but when you invest that kind of draft capital, you expect those guys to be either starters or contributors. So, you draft that position, I would assume, based on need, right? So, if Trice isn't going to be there, what is?
I mean, again, maybe it's Justin Simmons, maybe it's Hassan Reddick. If the Falcons, if they could make their cap amenable to be able to squeeze the trade like that, if there was, but I don't know that, honestly, Matty. If I'm the Falcons, I'm sitting here running the defense back with what I have, and then basically looking at us going, well, we probably need to beat everybody 31-28 anyway, and that's probably what our strength is. So I don't know that we should invest much more on the defensive side of the ball, because in reality, we should be able to beat everybody with our offense. I think that's a fair way to look at it. I don't mind them attacking it that way in year one of Kirk Cousins. So you kind of just say, hey, we'll get in the track meet and force people to keep up with us. If the defense makes 1 or 2 plays a game, 1 or 2 stops late, that should be enough for us to go out there and get a W. And I think that's fair and accurate. I don't think anybody should dispute that. This is the model that they built their team in. Anything they get from their defense is a plus. It's not a scenario where without it, this team is going to miss the playoffs. They should make the playoffs because their offense is one of the better ones in the league.
You going over under Atlanta 9.5?
I would tell you again, they could still win the NFC South with 9 games, because I don't know that anybody else is really going to sneak up on you and be that good. I'm not a believer in Tampa Bay or Baker Mayfield. If there was ever a guy who's primed for regression, it's him. So I'm not going to really, jump on that train. But as I said, this team, the last 2 years, and you know me, I'm on the record. I'm an Arthur Smith staunch defender. Should have never been fired, period. It was not his fault. But he dragged very bad quarterback play and this team to 2 7-win seasons. You've now gotten infinitely better at quarterback. You have better, healthier skill positions all around. There is no excuse, 0 excuse, for them not to win 10 games. That is the bare minimum. They should not. Listen, there's a world, okay? sit down for this. And you know me, I'm not a Falcons fan. I'm not from Atlanta. I'm a Giants fan. My team is terrible.
Right.
So, but there is a world, if Dallas and Philadelphia stumble, the Falcons are a 3 seed. I mean, wrap your head around that for a second. They're an 11 or 12 win team and a 3 seed. And go look at the schedule that they have. It is as easy as apple pie, baby. I mean, they have a tough stretch in the back end with road games. I think they play 4 road games in 6 weeks, including a bye. So 4 to 5 on the road with a bye week. But there is no reason, legitimately no reason they should not win 10 games. It is an absolute failure if they only win 9.
Okay. I'm with you on that. And by the way, Saints and Falcons, by opponent winning percentage of a year ago, have the easiest schedules in the NFL. But the Saints is just riddled with landmines, and they stink. I don't think anybody's expecting the Saints to do much.
I mean, I don't know how Dennis Allen got through another year having a job.
Hey, man.
He has, naked pictures of the Bensons somewhere?
I don't think it's that, man. I just think you have a front office that has absolutely zero accountability, zero fear of any type of ramifications for not doing a good job. And they just
I'm floored that he is still there. I mean, I'm not really a big fire the coach guy, but it was so bad last year offensively that it was offensive. There wasn't really a valid reason. And I was the biggest Derek Carr defender for years. And then he put on a Saints uniform, and I went, well, I can't do that anymore. I really can't.
Welcome to my side of the convo, Zinno.
Yeah, I thought forever he was just such a really underrated quarterback, and he played really well. And then guess what happened? We went to go play for Dennis Allen, and I was like, well, yeah, that's maybe was his fault. Yeah. But one positive note for the Louisiana fans, Zinno, speaking in third person, has a shekel here on LSU to win the SEC.
Okay. What was that? Was it 11-1, 16-1? What is it?
Yes, and I love the number all around.
Okay.
Give me all of it.
All right.
Listen, this is a team with probably the most favorable SEC schedule out there. It really breaks well for them on so many fronts. Look at your 4 road games. At South Carolina, new quarterback, right?
Yep.
At Texas A&M, new quarterback. At Florida, same quarterback, but it's Billy Napier. At Arkansas, new quarterback. Right? I mean, you finish up with Vanderbilt and Oklahoma at home. The real pitfall, again, is the Bama game, but you get that at home. Ole Miss will be tough, but you get them at home.
And after a bye.
I think the toughest challenge for them really is getting through week 1. If they end up beating USC, I might double down on them to win the national championship.
Oh, okay, Zinno.
I am that confident. Listen, Brian Kelly is good at one thing more than other things, and that is actually being a football coach. X's and O's, the guy's excellent. He knows how to get the best out of his guys and take a lot of chicken salad and make it into chicken. You know what? You know the whole thing. Whatever it is.
Sure.
You get whatever that is. But you get the point. So
making chicken salad out of chicken. You know what?
Right. It was a compliment. So I mean, even with Malik Neighbors gone, even with Jaden Daniels gone, this is a team right now that I truly feel like he has got a great grasp on. And as long as they get consistent quarterback play, they should be okay, especially early. There's not a reason that they should be, if they get past USC, they should be undefeated. They should be 5-0 at their bye and ranked inside the top 5.
Yes, I agree with that.
So I'm very high on LSU this year.
All right, let's go. Zinno, noted LSU homer, Mark Zinno joining us from 92.9 The Game, and of course, ESPN Radio, you hear him nationally as well. I'm fired up for it, Zinno. I do think the schedule plays out well for the Tigers also. Maybe the purple and gold can bring us some joy, because I'm not sure the black and gold will this fall. But.
Again, you avoided Texas, and you get Oklahoma at home.
And Georgia.
And no Georgia, exactly.
Yeah.
So I can't think of a better way for it to go, and Sam Pittman may be fired by the time they play for the Battle of the Boot, so there is that.
Mark Zinno, always appreciate it, man. All the best. Talk soon.
Love you, Matty. Talk to you.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.